it's time for the throw punch! You couldn't hear it because I was muted, but I was totally playing the kazoo along with the intro music.
Next album.
Anyway,
Good work.
Next
Good
album.
work.
Representative Khanna, his people have texted me to let me know that he is on board for tonight's stream, our special stream. He's running a little bit late. He is, after all, a very busy person. And the fact that we have this much time is pretty freaking special. I promised I would mind my language a little bit tonight. So
I will indeed. Maybe.
I made no such promise.
Yeah, I don't sign no pledge.
Whilst we are waiting, well, your veterans are setting the standard. So, well, 2 of the 3 veterans. Let me. Whilst we're waiting on Representative Khanna to get set up, which should be here in the next 5 some odd minutes. News just broke that the Trump administration has apparently destroyed yet another Venezuelan vessel outside of the confines of war extrajudicially. So, you know, trial balloon for what they can fucking do in America, I guess. I don't know.
He's doing the same thing Putin is doing, just testing to see how long, what he can get away with before they actually declare a war on him.
Beyond the loss of life, in this case, they're saying there were 3 people killed this time, which are probably going to turn out to be 3 more fishermen, like the 11 that were killed in the first strike. Just consider what we just spent for a laser-guided precision munition dropped by either an aircraft or drone versus the cost of the little wooden fishing boat that we so desperately needed to blow up.
Don't forget the cost of summoning all your DC military units to, put Charlie Kirk's coffin on a fucking military escort.
Really?
Outrageous. Yeah. The full riderless horse procession, all for Charlie Kirk.
Are you serious?
I'm dead serious.
It's
as a man that's never even served.
Incredibly embarrassing.
It's embarrassing
that they're pulling out all the stops for Charlie Kirk. You know, the flag at half-mast and all this stuff. Because, I mean, they announced the flag at half-mast for Charlie Kirk before, they announced flag at half-mast for friggin' 9/11.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's not forget that when 2 Congress people in Minneapolis, was it? Yeah, Minnesota, right? That were shot dead, and their dog, and 2 other, another congressperson and her husband were shot and sent to a hospital. He didn't even call. Our president didn't even call, didn't show up to a funeral. And these are people who were serving the country. It tells you exactly. It says a lot, of course, but it tells you exactly what matters in this authoritarian regime. Service is not important. Praising the leader is everything. If you praise the leader, it doesn't matter how much time you put in. It doesn't matter if you raised your hand and swore the oath. It doesn't matter if you have served your country or your community. None of it matters. All of it is just bull. Only thing that matters is, did you praise the dear leader? And that gives you a military parade.
Well, and this is coming from the person who doesn't even,
Hey,
who couldn't even be bothered to properly honor veterans of World War I on the 100th anniversary. This is coming from the same guy who couldn't even be bothered to properly honor veterans a single day in his life.
The same guy who didn't want wounded veterans up on stage with him because it made him sad to have to stand next to people, quote, like that. It's disgusting.
I'm gonna get really pissed off. I need it. Where's the drinks? What's happening here?
We said in our comments,
I'm right here.
Arlington.
I got a big. There you go. Yeah.
One that's all I got.
Yeah, we're not.
Representative Khanna is going to go on the stream. We're all going to be like, ah.
I'm not playing today.
Listen. I have one 9.5% tall boy. All right, I'm not going to get crazy. No, not going to get crazy. Not going to get wasted. All right, that's light for me.
Well,
I need about 8 more of those before I'm like, I should not drive.
I don't know. I can't be the only one who's sick and tired of seeing how Trump has treated the military and veterans, and then using it as pawns for his displays. Make them, drive around the DC monuments, stop and pick up garbage, meaningless airstrikes on fishing boats in Venezuela. I mean, probably not the first time we've bombed boats that weren't when we said they were, but this is also purely for show. This is achieving no objectives. This is not what these guys have signed up to do.
Adjust my camera here a little bit.
So let's do a quick recap. Tuskegee Airmen gone.
Woke. DEI.
The original. Who was that? Was that the original DOD director, the black guy who, like, the first person?
He was chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff.
Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff.
DEI.
Gone.
Appointed by Trump in the first place.
Yeah.
And yes, to answer the audience question, Ro Khanna will be joining us. He's running late, so we're filling time by going over the news of the day. Sorry.
And
like a whole little banner down there that says Rep Khanna, maybe.
People aren't reading it.
And getting rid of every single accomplishment made by the black soldiers when they had a segregated army. Gone. But
like
Charlie
the
Kirk, Harlem Hellfighters, gone. But Charlie Kirk, military parade, military funeral, never served a day in his life. Charlie Kirk.
That's what I got to say about that.
Sorry, they took the memorial photos down from a number of bases for if they were people of color or women. Just not there.
Yep.
So they left the memorials to the white soldiers. And I'm fine with, soldiers' memorials being up there, but why are you sorting it by race? Why was that a thing? Why are you taking them off? It's so overt, their agenda to just erase anyone who's not a white straight male from the history, from any achievement. Erase them from the history books, erase them from the museums, take them out of any kind of lesson plan, take them out of our education. It's obscene.
Absolutely obscene. And you wonder, these were the same people not too long ago that were cosplaying as veterans because they loved them so much. They were the same people that were on every single post with American flags and the veterans, unless they're black or women. right? And now it's gone to the point where veterans, Charlie Kirk, yes.
I've got a question for the chat. Chat. At current time of day, we have, actually, let me reload it and get the accurate number. We have 99,577 followers on the YouTube channel alone. When that number rolls over to 100,000, what do you think, in your opinion, what should Sons of Liberty do, whether it's like a serious commemorative event or just something absolutely batshit insane? What should we do to incorporate or to acknowledge the hunt, to celebrate that milestone?
We'll let the chat get on it.
That's the question for the chat.
I like that. I like that answer. Impeach, convicted, removed for 100,000 subscribers.
Topless pics of Big Sarge. Just giving the people what they want. And we're banned from YouTube.
At 100,000.
Representative Khanna logs in and it's like,
yeah,
I'm the only one here. And it's like, well,
respected representative of Congress logging in. We're just the absolute
there was some
degenerate
titties
chat
on the stream.
Jonathan D says 100 shots.
It's upsetting. It's upsetting that Big Sarge
night.
might show his titties on stream. I don't even have any to show. What the hell is it?
Yes.
We truly live in dark times.
Dark times.
Unfortunately, I probably have 2 or 3.
Is this what transphobia feels like? I
love it.
Yeah, we were in total recall there for a second. Jamie brings us back to Earth.
When we reach 100,000, I say Sarge brings out the guitar and I get on the drums and we just play online. Just play.
I don't know how well that's going to work because there's going to be like some internet lag and delay. So you'll be on one part and I'll be on the other.
That's the beauty of it. That's the key. That's the key.
Like, you remember the episode of The Simpsons where they recruited the kids to be in a boy band, and it was actually the voices were being done, or the singing was being done by the like InSuck or the Backstreet Boys, whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
Remember that? Even at Neos, that's what it's gonna be like.
Yes.
when they got found out and they're like, it was just little kids. Like, I do want to say that have a band,
Asia.
And also there's another performer that I'm familiar with from my Atlanta film scene days, who also wants to do a live, like a couple of songs. Thinking about putting the band in my living room and then having them also show up, and we do like a house party live stream.
Oh,
well,
James, I got
Liberty music and then some.
JP, I got to show my kid how absolutely stunning you look. Hang on a second.
I appreciate that very much. Thank you.
I got to get used to the new name though, Jamie.
Listen, my family is all getting used to it as well. Okay, so for those who don't know in the chat, I am the artist formerly known as James Pratai. I have recently come out as trans, going by Jamie now, using she, her pronouns. So for those of you who knew me before as James, Jamie now. So
I'm going to have to ask your forgiveness in case I get it wrong the first couple of times.
No, I mean that's perfectly fair. Like I said, my family's still adjusting to it. Even like I'm still adjusting to it. I fuck it up for myself all the time. So
yeah, well, sorry. She said that you look stunning.
I appreciate that.
So we're so stoked.
I will say this though, Jamie, that this just so happens to be the day that even right now I'm uploading a video from our host who is also trans and talking about the thing that happened where they're thinking about getting rid of the Second Amendment for trans people only, right? Just all of a sudden we're just gonna get rid of it for trans people only. So she decided to do a damn hour-long rant on it.
Awesome.
Right.
People who see it, be aware that it's done in absolute anger, and she's kind of going after everybody. So liberals are gonna get it too. Just,
I can't wait.
Yeah, just listen, just hear her out before you get pissed off.
Oh, please hear her out. Yes, absolutely. You will not be disappointed.
Woo! It's gonna be awesome.
I did want to point out a great 100,000 subscriber idea I saw on the sidebar, Tim. We all get matching tattoos.
Oh my God!
Wicked. I'm down for that. I'm so down for that. I need it.
Chopped up snake.
Are we doing
Oh
it?
yeah.
Chopped
But
up
I get to
snake?
pick the tattoo.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
I'm currently a broke
Okay,
ass
chat,
bitch,
chat.
but
Do I say everybody agrees? Yes, chat agrees. Asia gets to pick tattoo.
We know
I'm the only
that
girl
Chet-
here, right?
that
Yeah,
Chet-
yeah.
We've already found out last time that Chet has an affiliation for Asia. Like they
They do not. No.
All right, we've got Representative Khanna backstage.
Oh.
Let's
Oh,
all right.
sorry.
Just lock
Straight
it
up,
in.
straight up.
Lock it in.
All right. Locked in.
Yeah. Hey.
Representative
All
Khanna.
right.
Representative Khanna, welcome.
Hey, how are you?
Good. How are you doing?
Welcome.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you
Good
for being
broadcast.
here.
Yes,
Super excited to have you.
Well, I'm
Everybody's been
excited
waiting
to
for this.
join. I appreciate it.
So we stopped by your office on the 2nd when we were there with the Removal Coalition.
I was there.
And
Well,
we got a
thanks.
couple of people from your neck of the woods in Philadelphia area.
Nice.
We
Well,
heard you might be a secret Eagles fan. Can you
You
comment?
know, I grew up a Buddy Ryan fan. The Buddy Ryan Eagles, Reggie White and Randall Cunningham. Now 49ers fan, and we had a good win yesterday.
Yeah, you guys did.
Oh, the
Very
Niners.
impressive win.
But they've had it. 49ers have been injured a lot lately. I mean, obviously we've had a lot of injuries, but pulled it out yesterday.
Despite that flaw of yours,
Look, if the easy to be an Eagles fan now, like
Wow.
Saquon Barkley and all. When I was an Eagles fan, they weren't going to the Super Bowl and stuff. I mean, they'd be a big
True
deal if
story.
they make the playoffs.
true.
To be fair, I'm the only Eagles fan on the panel with you here, so
Yes, also a major flaw. Both, just But listen,
Representative Khanna, he only bullies the people he loves, so that's a compliment. Charlie.
Yeah.
He bullies you and me. He bullies me all the time.
Well, my wife says never trust someone who changes their sports allegiances. So
fair.
Goes
Very
far.
fair.
I want to give you a chance to, because there's a lot of people on the dais here, and I'm sure we all have a lot of questions. I'd like to, if that's all right, Big Sarge, I want you to tell us first, not just where are you with the most, the most popular thing that everybody knows about right now, the files and what's going on and getting them released, but right now, this day in Congress, what is most prevalent on your mind? What has been going on? What do you most want to let the people know before we get into the nuances of the things we want to know?
Well, the violence is on my mind. The horrific assassination of Charlie Kirk, the fact that it happened at a university where people are supposed to have the free inquiry and free debate of ideas, the fact that some of the response to that horrific incident has been the encouraging of violence against others and not a form of healing and a form of seeing how we can do better as Americans. I mean, I think we all as Americans need to listen to Governor Cox, who, a Republican in Utah, is talking about lowering the temperature, finding common ground, finding how we deal with these social media algorithms. I represent Silicon Valley, and I've been calling for reform of these tech companies with an Internet Bill of Rights for the last decade. And hopefully people will now listen. But we also need to talk about, how we respect one another, not dehumanize one another, how we do better as Americans. And that's not a conversation just for Congress, that's a conversation for all of us. But something feels different after the Kirk shooting. Something feels very dangerous for the country, that we could descend into a spiral, downward spiral, or we need to turn it around. And so that's what's really on my mind. Obviously, we can talk about the Epstein Files and the policy issues, but there's something about the spirit of this country that needs to be renewed.
Okay. So that's it. That's an awesome sentiment, and also that's on everybody's mind. I want to say that even that statement to me, it seems to undermine the truth that there is a portion of this country that even before the bullet hit the ground was ready to start a war. And every person such as you, every person in politics, every person who is a one-time president, every person who is in leadership in the Democratic Party said that. And on the other side, every person who isn't one of those things that I said it's a war. At what point is it okay to say we need to heal is utter nonsense and they need to heal? How can we speak to that? Because I just don't. People making jokes online is one thing. The leadership, the same leadership that, for instance, MSNBC fired someone for saying that if you say something mean or if you speak hate, you will get hate back. And then on the other station on Fox News, somebody said, let's kill all the homeless people with lethal injections, and he's still not fired. At what point can we say that's the fact? And if we don't attach it, if we don't attack it from that fact, nobody's going to believe anything we say anymore.
Well, there's certainly not a moral equivalence between what the Democratic response has been and what Trump and others have been saying. The Democrats have condemned the violence, have called for better dialogue, better healing. And Trump, instead of trying to bring the country together, is obsessed about blaming the left. And on the right, you have calls for a national divorce and civil war. But I just take inspiration from the fact that the left has faced the brunt of violence in our nation's history. I mean, we've had the assassinations of John F. Kennedy, of Bobby Kennedy, of Martin Luther King, of Malcolm X. We've had John Lewis beaten on the Edmund Pettus Bridge. And yet they were courageous enough, principled enough to appeal to the higher spirits of the American people, knowing that that's the only way that you end the cycles of violence and the cycles of hate. As Emanuel Cleaver in the Congress, one of my colleagues said, rhetorical fire with fire leaves ashes. And so I don't say that, we shouldn't fight strongly with every tool we have, but someone has to model a better way forward for this country. Someone has to speak to the hunger that people have of that this is not okay. And I think our party must be that party.
Well, so one question this leads me to ask, and actually, if I could sidebar real quick, I feel like it makes sense for us to all introduce ourselves to Representative Khanna because he hasn't met all of us.
That's fair.
We just went straight in.
We just went straight in, right?
Congressman, got to fix time here. So
I'm
time.
I'm admin Jamie. I use she/her pronouns. I recently came out as a trans woman. I'm a Marine Corps vet as well.
Thank you for your service.
Thank you for your support. But one thing this response to Charlie Kirk's murder does bring to mind is the lack of. Sorry, give me one second here. The lack of kind of acknowledging, I think, from our leadership, the harm that, violent rhetoric does. I mean, we look at, things such as, what Charlie Kirk, said, and we look at things like, I mean, you even said it yourself on Twitter that, was a free speech violation, but things like, Graham Linehan said, right? Like, where there are very clear calls to violence, and there's not a response from our leadership in the United States of calling out these calls to violence and somewhat equivocating and, talking about how, okay, nobody should be killed for their speech, blah, 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 or nobody should be arrested, or blah, 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 which in a vacuum, sure. But when it's somewhat of when they have a track record of calling for violence, advocating for violence, saying violence is okay, dehumanizing other people, like there's a point at which it feels like our leadership, to me, is not doing a good enough job of pointing out, hey, like, sure, Charlie Kirk getting shot is reprehensible. Nobody wants political violence in our country, of course, but it's also a natural consequence of his actions.
Well, look, I don't think murder is ever the consequence of action. So I don't think that we should have any equivocation in condemning Charlie Kirk's murder and assassination, and say that anything that Kirk said or did in any way brought that upon him or justified that. I mean, it's a heinous act of killing someone who has children and a wife and who is engaged in speech. At the same time, I think one doesn't have to whitewash the things he said that were harmful and hurtful and not the democratic way of participating in a constructive manner. I mean, when he said that black women have a lower IQs, or that we shouldn't allow Indians into the United States. Those are deeply hurtful statements. And so I think that there is a possibility of holding two thoughts in one's head. The murder was totally outrageous and unjustified, and nothing that Kirk did or said justifies it in any way. But that Kirk's practice, the way Kirk practiced dialogue, is not to be upheld as some kind of model when it involved the dehumanization of people different than him based on their insulting their intelligence or their race.
Last question on this, and I agree with you 100%. You got to be able to hold two thoughts in your head if you're a reasonable adult. Not justifying, not saying that it justifies it. What do you think about, is there a way that we can say more forcefully or without hesitation when we see that rhetoric on the other side and say, you do know that this is the type of stuff that will get people killed? Like, I think that we say you have the right to say anything you want, but you can't yell fire in a crowded building, or you can't defame people. So there are limitations on the First Amendment that we know exist. And I think if we saw, as people on the left, as Democrats, as centrists, as whatever everybody who's not MAGA is, basically is what the country has devolved into right now, unfortunately. If we could say that, if we could say honestly, if we could actually say openly and honestly, what you're doing is killing us. When I see this, do you know that is killing us? And it's not like it's okay to say it. There's some things that have to be said. When you say that, it's disgusting and it's not okay to be said. We have to find a way to police it or to call it out as such and use it as what I think the truth is, what you just said. although it might not be a result that we want, it can be used by people who are already on the edge to really do a lot of violence. Can we call that out when we see it and say it like that?
Yes, I think, look, I think the problem here is that the right to speak and the defense of the right to speak doesn't mean that that's good speech. And there are people who have crossed the line from defending speech as a right to holding it up as a model. And I think we could say that that kind of speech, which is maybe protected under the First Amendment because it's not an imminent incitement of violence, and that we protect that because we want robust public debate, and we want people to be able to criticize war, and we want people to be able to talk about their disagreement with government policy in broad ways. So we protect speech broadly unless it's an incitement to imminent harm. That doesn't mean that when you have speech that is talking about punching trans individuals, as the comedian did, or insulting the intelligence of black women, or saying Indians shouldn't come to the United States, that doesn't do an enormous amount of harm, injury, harm, even leading to death, and it does harm to the very idea of America. And I think that's the challenge: is how do we defend speech while criticizing the practitioners of speech and model something better? And to me, there's one president in recent history who's modeled fear and villainy and division, and that's Trump, and he won 2 terms. But there are a lot of presidents, FDR and John F. Kennedy and Barack Obama, and people like King and John Lewis and Bernie Sanders, who modeled a different vision of America based on inspiration and decency. And I don't understand why we have to say, well, the model is to emulate Trump. There are a lot of other models that have succeeded, and by the way, they were much better leaders.
Much better. Yeah,
Well,
that's where I was going to go with that.
I
true.
don't
Would you-
think it's necessarily that complicated of an answer, to be honest. I mean, again, we look at Graham Linehan of, what do we do in that kind of situation? Well, if you advocate for punching trans people in the face, you get brought up on charges because you're advocating for violence. You're spreading hate speech. I mean, there's a measurable impact there for people like Graham Linehan or Charlie Kirk, where they have contributed to the violence and degradation of discourse in not just our nation, but overall and in human society in general. And that's actually more of my point when I say, what happened to Charlie Kirk was a natural consequence of his actions. Is he advocated for a violent society, and he got shot in a violent society. Not that he should have been, but that is the world he helped build. And there should be consequences for trying to build that world and openly advocating for a more violent society.
Right.
Well, look, I obviously, I disagree with a lot of things Charlie Kirk said. I think we have, I don't believe that that there should be a causal link between what he said and the horrific assassination. But to the point of the comedian, I have said that I don't think that he should be arrested for that, but that doesn't mean that his tweets shouldn't be condemned. That doesn't mean that social media can't have standards of how we have conversation. But in this country, under the First Amendment, we have a Brandenburg test, which is that speech has to have imminent incitement to harm in specific time and place. And I believe, as a First Amendment supporter and a largely strong supporter, that that's a good doctrine, because I don't want the government, especially a big government with Trump, using government powers to arrest folks as Trump is today, accusing the left of engaging in violence. And look at the amount of people that are being fired or for the comments they're making and for things that the right is saying is offensive. So I just think it's a very dangerous road when you narrow the free speech protections and allow the government to arrest people, even though we should unambiguously condemn the comedian's tweets.
I'm with you on that one. Asia, what were you going to say?
I was just going to add a couple of things. Um, so in your state, they have actually pretty strong laws against, hate crimes, and it's the California is kind of the envy of the rest of the country. I know I'm envious. I live in North Carolina, and I look at California and wish that we had laws like that. But it's but if if it can be done in California, in your state, why can't they be done elsewhere? And while yes, I agree that Charlie Kirk and others like him, actually him to a much less extent than others, on the right, did help to bring about the kind of violence that we're living in right now. Yes, we do have the First Amendment. The problem that I see is that we have a court system that has been jam-packed with flunkies put it there by Leonard Leo, and that are there not to rule on the Constitution, but to rule based on what the people that put them there want them to rule on. And we are seeing an abdication of upholding our constitutional rights right now by judges across the country, and especially our Supreme Court. So right now, that First Amendment that you're speaking of is not being upheld on one side. It's not being upheld for the many students that are protesting and being picked up. It's not being upheld for immigrants that we have on the streets that are being abducted in broad daylight and whisked off to foreign nations, never to be seen again. I mean, so when you talk about the First Amendment, it's all wonderful and everything, but what are we doing to protect those rights right now when we have a court system that is effectively broken?
Well, I agree with you. The courts have not protected us. I also think that the Democrats have not been strong enough in standing up for human rights. This is why I voted against Lake and Riley, which so many Democrats supported and voted for, which basically which was imported from right-wing European parties and basically gave the power for deportation without due process. So we voted for it, many of Democrats, not me, and many of them in the swing states. And then when Trump basically started doing what Lake and Riley said, we said, well, no. Well, how about we had morally consistent opposition from the beginning? And then so many Democrats, I've defended free speech in a philosophical way, but I have no sympathy for the Democrats that threw the trans community under the bus and blamed Kamala Harris's loss on that. And then you had all these Democrats saying, well, it's because she cared about they them ad. Well, no, that's not why she lost. There was issues of the economy. There was issues of Biden dropping out too late. There was issues about our vision. But we can't start compromising the human rights of the trans community and expect that to be a party of conviction.
Okay, but what is it that you need us that you need from us to do?
Well, we need to be all mobilized to understand that ultimately the courts are not going to protect us. The courts may protect us from the very worst, like Trump trying to run a third term, and they may come in at these enormously huge moments. But in terms of the day-to-day erosion of federal agencies, they haven't protected us. Militarization of the streets, they haven't protected us. Deportation without due process, they haven't protected us. You're not going to have me disagree with you about the failure of the courts.
Oh, I'm sure.
But I think what we need is mobilized Americans standing up for these rights. And in some places it's worked. I mean, in some places they've actually stopped the splitting up of families, and it's the American people who highlighted the deportation of Abrego without due process that at least prevented further things happening. It was a mobilization in Los Angeles of Americans that called out the abuse. So I think we all have to speak up for these rights and mobilize. That's the only thing that we can do.
you had previously voted. I understand that you have to go very shortly, so I want to kind of.
I was about to say,
for a second. You had previously voted against impeachment of Donald Trump, and I wanted to touch on that real quick. There are a lot of people who are concerned, since we're talking about the Supreme Court not doing its job, for example. A lot of people are concerned about midterm elections. Will they be free and fair? If we even have them, which is a concern that other people share as well. If another impeachment vote came up, would you support it, and why or why not, depending on your answer? And I did have a follow-up question to that, if you have the time to spare.
Yeah, sure. I voted to table it because it was a motion to impeach him on a violation of the War Powers Act. The irony is I brought up the War Powers Act with Thomas Massey, saying that the action in Iran was unconstitutional. But other presidents have also engaged in unconstitutional actions on war powers, and I've called them out when they did. And so my view is that there are other grounds for bringing impeachment, such as what he's doing with the cryptocurrency, what he's doing with the Qatari jet, what he's doing with corruption. And certainly if there was broader articles brought up on areas that he is unique, not areas where unfortunately other American presidents have also violated the War Powers Act, then I would consider it. But I think that we ought to do it when we have the votes. I mean, it shouldn't just be some symbolic gesture that doesn't have votes.
Do you think it was a
that
softball
leads me to
impeachment?
well, let him get his follow-up question.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. I
Actually-
forgot you had one.
That actually leads me to the follow-up. This is having the vote. So given what we've seen from conservatives on the Supreme Court and in Congress, basically willing to bend the knee, so to speak, which do you think is more likely? Trump telling Speaker Johnson to give up the keys of Congress willingly to a majority party that won after the midterms, presuming, or getting all of the Democrats on board to impeach, and then we, the people, the average citizens, lobbying a handful of Republicans to join with, say, United Democrats on impeachment?
Look, I think it'd be very hard. The first time we've gotten any Republicans to join on anything in 9 years against Donald Trump has been my push for the Epstein Files, where we've gotten 4: Thomas Massey, Lauren Boebert, Marjorie Taylor Greene, and Nancy Mace, and they've shown enormous
coverage. That, by the way. Thank you for
that. I'm sorry?
Thank you for that, by the way.
Absolutely.
Well, we're at 217 signatures. We're going to get to 218. It'll be the first vote since Donald Trump walked down the escalator, where the MAGA base is divided and with us in voting against him and supporting justice for rich and powerful people who abused young girls and have evaded all accountability. And it's about 90% of Americans have no confidence in our government. They think it's co-opted by rich and powerful people. This is about restoring trust. So I believe getting Republicans to vote for Trump's impeachment is chasing fool's gold. It's been hard enough on the Epstein issue. We've gotten 4. But I do think what we need to do is win the midterms. That we're doing the redistricting in California. We got to make sure that passes. We need to make sure that we're competing in every state and every district. And people understand that this is a president who is stopping vaccines, who's stopping cancer research, who's dismantling every federal agency, who's led to higher prices for burgers and coffee and tomatoes and groceries, who's slowed down the economy, where young people's unemployment rate is 12%. You know, those who voted for him thinking their wallet would get fatter even if democracy got hurt, well, their wallets didn't get fatter. So, you know, we have a lot that we can run on in the midterms. And he's taking away healthcare to give tax breaks for the billionaires. And if I am 100% convinced he's much less popular today than he was when he took office, I'm 100% convinced that we have a mobilized movement across this country that we can win, and we can win decisively the House of Representatives.
Thank you so much. I just got a text that says you do have to take off. I have one real fast question, and it's personal. Would you help us get an in with Representative Crockett? Like, I'm a huge fan of hers.
Please.
And I just wanted to ask.
I can tell. It's like I can tell from your questions that you love why you would respect and love Representative Crockett. She's a breath of fresh air in our committee. She's incredible, and I will convey to her the next time I see her this week at the oversight hearing your respect for her.
At least tell her Big Sarge says he's a big fan, and I'm also a fan of yours.
More importantly,
And,
that Admin Asia is a big fan.
Here we go. Here we go.
Much more
well, look,
importantly.
I appreciate very much that that your voices in standing up for democracy at the time that it's under threat, and your sense that we've got your recognition of the risk that we face. I think it takes all types in a big tent of all different temperaments for us to make sure that we move this country in a different direction. And I really appreciate your voices in doing that.
I want to say this,
we
sir.
Appreciate your time.
We appreciate your time. I want to say this. No answer necessary. I make it a point for myself, at least, and I know everyone here makes it a point to try to be as tough as possible. Try not to just be someone who says, "Hey, how you doing?" and shake hands. So we did maybe try to come up with questions that we think our audience wants to know. But I want you to know my respect for you and what you did on September 2nd, September 3rd.
Yes.
With the survivors, what you've been doing on that cause has been inspiring, and I would love to see more people follow your lead when it comes to bringing these type of issues to the people, to the ground, with a podium and a microphone to the people who it affects, and not just on C-SPAN. I
appreciate that. I was so proud. It was not me, it's the survivors. But I would just say this, it's not just that we need to fight, it's what we're going to fight for. And I believe this to the core of my being. If we fight for just causes, like standing with survivors and protecting children, people will see that. And this country has a remarkable capacity for resilience and overcoming ugliness. And what we face is tough, but it's not what my late colleague John Lewis faced. I mean, we aren't getting beaten on the Edmund Pettus Bridge. We're not living through the worst of Jim Crow. There are a lot of people who have sacrificed a lot more than any of us have. My grandfather was in jail repeatedly over the course of 4 years fighting for India's independence against British colonialism. So I feel that standing on principle and fighting for principle is what's going to awaken this country from the nightmare that we're in.
Representative Khanna, I also have to add, as a survivor and as somebody who has advocated for 20 years for survivors, that it was very heartwarming to see you there and to see all of you standing up for survivors like you did. We really thought that nothing was going to come of the Epstein Files, that they were going to just be lost. So I just wanted to put my.
I appreciate that. I thank you for sharing that, and that means a lot to me. And it's been disappointing, shocking how many women have shared with me since I've done this, their own stories of trauma and surviving sexual abuse. I mean, we've dehumanized and degraded women in our culture for way too long. And these survivors didn't have a voice well before Trump. But the credit really goes to them for their courage, because before that, I don't follow these odds all the time, but these prediction odds said there was about a 30% chance that we would get the release of the Epstein Files. And literally, the minute they were done speaking in the press conference, that went up to 70%. They changed the entire trajectory of this. It was no longer a boring fight about files between politicians. Yeah. It became a human issue. And so, they really deserve. We are going to get these files released, a vote on the House. And I look forward to bringing them back when we do, and giving them the credit that they deserve.
You just tell us what you need us to do, and we'll back you up. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, guys. I got to go vote.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you,
appreciate it.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Squeezed every minute out of that.
I'm getting texts from staffers that are like, he's got to go.
I'm sorry, Sarge. Sarge, I had to. I'm sorry, Tim. I had to say something. It meant something to me emotionally. So.
Yeah, I
well
appreciate that.
We survived that intact, so that's.
We did.
I was nervous as I was like, this
We
is
did.
our highest profile guest yet. No offense to previous guests.
Mm-hmm.
I was told at the 9/2 rally by somebody else's staffer that it's incredibly rare for you to get more than 5 minutes unless you're like a major news outlet and they're up for re-election or something
And
like that. So
We're
the
definitely
fact
not
that
a
we got
news
what we
outlet.
did, which was already condensed from the hour that we were supposed to have, I'm deeply appreciative of Representative Khanna's time. And I realize, let me say this before everybody starts tuning out. I realize there's people in the comment sections that are not happy with the answers and people who are dissatisfied with the elected representatives. If you are mad about those answers, the internet is not the place to voice that. Like, first of all, he's not reading the comments and neither are his
That's
staffers.
right.
The place for you to be is at their offices, whether it's their office in DC or their office in your local area. Every congressperson, whether they're a representative in the House or a senator, has an office, at least one office in your state. Sometimes they have multiple offices. They're not going to be at every single office all the time because nobody can do that. But if you want your elected representatives to pay attention to you, the best method is to show up in person, followed by making phone calls, because they log everything. When you call in and you're like, I'd like to place an order for Domino's Pizza like a dumbass, they're logging that.
Yep.
So the next best thing is to write letters and then send emails. Everything after that, like, nobody gives a shit about online comments. They're not going to pay attention to that. So if you don't like the answers that you were given, and to be clear, there were a lot of questions that we could not ask. We had this much time and that many questions.
I didn't get to any
we
of
had to
mine.
kind of stick with what we had.
I
Oh,
might have
yeah, Matt, you
monopolized a little
didn't.
bit more time than I intended.
Sorry about that, Matt.
I
Fine,
apologize.
fine. Mine was gonna be boring stuff like international policy, the War Powers Act, and
And I know we got two people from Pennsylvania that wanted to talk to him about, being an Eagles fan or whatever. So
No, I don't give a shit about the Eagles.
I really wanted
Anyway.
to talk about his, because he's got from Silicon Valley, and of course being security, I wanted to ask him about the EFF stuff, the stuff the EFF's lobbying for, but
yeah.
then I had to go hard on the courts. So
Hundreds of questions that we could ask, and I would
There
love
is.
to have somebody that could devote the time. But
There's one
this was
thing
like
I
the
wanted.
third or fourth reschedule that we had. So
yeah, it is.
that it actually happened.
it's fantastic. We got him on.
I will say
On a
this.
personal level, it's kind of
He's
annoying
busy.
when you don't understand why they have to reschedule. But for me personally, just having the representative on was like a big deal. So the fact that we got that much time
No,
is
nothing but respect.
pretty significant. So
I'm
maybe we'll see
stunned.
Representative Crockett. I don't know. Hopefully he'll follow through with that. Can I run for congressional seat?
100,000 yet?
No.
Um,
Let me reload and see. Probably not.
I think
We're
though,
at
one
99,000.
thing to
100,000.
say though, just caveating off of what Big Sarge said earlier, for if you have the means and the potential, and you're clean enough or whatnot, fucking run for a damn office, right? Like if it's
Yeah.
school board, right? Run for something.
Please
As
run
well,
for
if
school
you
board.
are unhappy with what's going on here, right? Like the only reason I can't run for office is because I'm a broke bitch. That's it, right?
I got this question here. Big Sarge, can you run for a congressional seat, please? The answer is no. And the reason
there's videos
is
out there.
because there are lots of videos. The reason is that I would run for office and I would literally have to basically be like, hi, my name is Big Sarge. I'm running for the House seat in bumfuck Egypt in Georgia, whatever. And before I tell you about my platform, I just need to get ahead of the controversy that's going to result. And that would be the start of every single video. and then thereafter would follow. So
there's
time,
another reason too, guys. I
took
want you guys to
prom,
think about.
and
I want you guys to think about this. People in the comment section and everybody else watching, the hundreds of people who showed up. Thank you for showing up. I want you guys to think about this. There's a reason why the media is mentioned in the Constitution. We don't want everybody in media that we like to become a congressperson.
Correct.
Because the jobs are different. And you don't want to take away what someone like a Big Sarge can do in a media position and he can't do if he was in Congress. Well, not just that, the actual change that you can affect, the 9,000 people that hit Discord, right? The runoff, the other things that have come from the organizing, the things that you can do that you couldn't do there because you'd have to leave in 5 minutes and go vote. And probably that vote would probably get thrown away. And so I want us all to just remember that, like, the reason why you can do it is because that we mean if you're not currently doing it. But if you're currently doing something that you're good at and is making a difference, we don't want Drill Sergeant to go in there and become a congressperson. We don't want Kid Sarge to come in. We don't want those voices are there for that reason, to affect change in that way. So just remember that. I want you guys just to remember that. It's important to have our media people be media people. And the ones that we love the most, you don't want them to be your congressperson. There's a different type of person for that.
I'd like to address the get so-and-so as a guest comment. Now, before I do this, I need to clarify. I'm not yelling at anybody or trying to chew anybody out, but this serves as a convenient springboard to talk about the guests that we do have on our live stream. First of all, we have on average, 100, 150 people watching live streams. This is the highest view count that we've had in probably the whole time. So, number one, if we want higher profile guests, then y'all motherfuckers need to turn up and be at the goddamn live stream. First of all.
Tell your friends, tell your family, tell everybody. That's right.
We're not
Bring it.
We're not a giant media corporation. So we don't have nobody here gets paid. We're not monetized. Nobody gets a penny from this unless you show up at my house and be like, hey, Big Sarge, here's a penny. And I'm not giving you my address because some of y'all are fucking weird and some of y'all
and he ain't getting monetized. You heard his mouth.
Yeah. You can't be monetized because I have a potty mouth and I talk about dangerous subjects according to YouTube. However, we do have volunteers who run things behind the scenes. I have to give a big shout out to Doug's booking person, Butterfly Screams, and my booking person, Rude Interplanet Janet, who handle our scheduling. If you want people to show up as a guest, you can suggest them, but if you don't let us know how to contact them, if you have an in with somebody, you need to hook us up. It can't be us. You got to be like, hey, Malcolm, my buddy, I know we played G.I. Joe Transformers back in the day, and I know that we still hang out on occasion and shoot, throw the football around, throw the baseball, shoot hoops, whatever. There's these guys, Sons of Liberty. You should definitely be on the show, and I can hook you up. It has to be that. If we send an email to Malcolm Nance, it's going to go to somebody who's going to look at it and they're going to be like, I don't know who the fuck this is.
Yep.
And if they look into it, the first thing they're going to see is your boy or drill sergeant. And we're like, motherfucker. So you got to understand, we could stop being true to ourselves and be like, excuse me. I would like to talk about the thing in a very calm and respectful voice, but that wouldn't be us. So if you have an in with these people and you're suggesting them to us, we hear what you're saying. We want to have people like Malcolm Nance, and we want to have Jasmine Crockett and Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and Bernie Sanders and, fucking whoever, not like Ted Nugent or anything, but, give me You mean like
We're not
fucking Chris
crazy.
Stapleton or somebody? I don't know. We want to have those higher profile guests, and I absolutely want to talk to every single political candidate who's running for office, who's progressive enough that wants to do great shit. But we can't do that just because, like, nobody knows who the fuck Sons of Liberty. You tell people, hey, check out Sons of Liberty, they're gonna be like,
Can you tell them how
is that
to
that
contact us?
And are you talking about the group from the Revolutionary War? That's what you're gonna get. You got to show them our material and be like, here's the video that explains who they are. That's a whole pinned video on the YouTube channel. It's like, hi,
I'll tell you what.
I'm Big Sarge.
I'll tell you what,
So-
Sarge. If you will give me this evening, you and I get together, I will put a email address up on the website. No, stop it. Stop it. You're going to get me in trouble, ruin my reputation. No,
That's another
I will
thing.
put an email address on the website for people to send email, and it will go and you can contact for media team. How's that? Sound good?
Our media people have email addresses.
I
For
know they
example,
do.
Janet's is Sons of Liberty official at proton.me.
Right. We have
and
a Liberty 1765.com domain.
Big shout out to Butterfly Screams. Big shout out to ORP's dude as well. From me.
I am not 100% sure why they use the proton address. That those were discussions. Like I don't tell people what emails they got to use. They have a good reason. I don't know what it is.
My guy, I was up at 4:30 this morning working on your web server. Okay, I'm the person you talk to about these things.
For which I am
That's true.
deeply appreciative.
That's true.
I know you are, but I'm
I give you
saying I
shout out
can make
to
this
videos, by the way,
happen.
now. Like I've worked that into my script. It's like we've got a
No,
website. Thank you, Admin Asia and the web
Thank
development
you.
team.
No, you don't need to thank me. I'm saying I can make that thing go to them so that it goes from the website so that you can just say go to the website and you can click here for media contacts. So that
Yeah.
You
like
should definitely
easy.
have that.
All right.
Yeah.
I'm just glad not
It's
to be the IT person.
like what
for once.
official media places like companies do. I've been paying attention.
Typecast.
I'd like to know, Matt, since you didn't get to ask the question, what were you going to ask? What did you want to ask him about?
I was going to ask him about a House effort to call to test the War Powers Act invocation that Trump has done, because he only gets so many days for that, and he is continuing to deploy military forces against other countries like Venezuela, 2 hours ago,
Right.
without a declared war.
When does that expire?
That's it. There's supposed to be 30 days.
And
I
it's
thought
been
it
way
was
more than
90.
30
It's 90
days.
days.
For sure,
90
30,
days.
yeah.
You're right.
90
It's
days.
supposed to be 90 days. Obviously, we've been blowing shit up for longer than 90 days.
Yeah.
He's only had the one invocation of the War Powers Act, so technically that's not legal, but
I mean,
Congress is not going to
we
call
can
him
add that
on
to
it.
the fucking list of
That-
illegal things they've been doing.
I got to
what Congress
capitalize on
can
something
do-
real fast.
That was one thing that
I'm
if
dropping a link.
we had
the
more
chat.
time, I would have followed up onto that. Representative Khanna said is, he didn't vote to impeach because of the War Powers Act, and other presidents have violated the War Powers Act and everything like that. But
It's true.
just because other people have been held accountable, why does that mean
Haven't
that
been.
this person should not be held accountable? Why would we not start a precedent now of holding presidents accountable for that?
But more importantly, what Congress can do is Congress can declare that the emergency, or emergencies in this case, that the president had declared are not valid emergencies, which
Right.
cancels a ton of things, from emergency funding, from control of certain forces, from deployment of federal agents. All of that has to follow from that emergency declaration. And the authority to do so can be revoked by Congress. And it doesn't take a lot of votes. We're what? We need 5 GOP votes to make it happen, basically. And he's managed to put together 4 for the whole release of the Epstein Files. It's not unrealistic to say that is within the possibilities.
Agreed.
Everybody that's watching, go subscribe to Sons of Liberty. The link is right there in the channel. You click it, it automatically subscribes you. Help us get to 100K. And
yes,
100K.
when we hit 100K,
100K.
all of the
Asia
admins
does
will
face
be
reveal.
taken under. Asia does face reveal.
Absolutely
Like
not.
I've
My
met
God,
admin
my,
Asia in
my
person
kids,
at a
my kids in the
protest. I don't
background
know
going,
what to do with
Asia
that.
does not do face reveal.
Asia does not do face reveal.
I'm presuming you have your reasons. I can guess what they
Because
are.
I'm the
I don't
damn
want to.
security person. Hi.
Yeah, but see, here's the thing. You could, if I turn that light off that I've got back there on that side, this face is, you're gonna see like a vague outline. So you could do that if you wanted to, and everybody would be like, "Oh."
Ooh.
I'm just
Hey,
saying.
so
Like
what
I
you're
don't want to
saying is
pressure
you
anybody.
want me to do like mood lighting, have my hair down.
Yeah, that's
What you're
exactly
saying.
what we're saying.
Sam?
Yeah.
You're
Glass
hitting
of
on me
wine, one
again.
of those giant
Again,
ass
I
cigarette
swear.
holders from
You
like
see
the
what I
fucking
go through,
1920s.
guys? Do you guys see what I go through? This is like, you know, so much sexual harassment. Where is HR?
What? You're the HR.
You're HR.
I found HR.
Shit. There's HR. Hello,
There's
HR.
HR.
Hello, HR. Okay,
We
I've
used to
forgotten
have
everything.
this-
I've forgotten all my complaints. HR is there.
Anyway,
All right. Folks.
I do want to thank all of you who tuned in to the live stream.
I
know
love
we
you guys,
lost
too.
probably about 100
Mwah.
people once Representative Khanna was gone, and the admins that took time to be on this special live stream. Real quick, I do want to talk about our live streams that are coming up tomorrow. We have Stephanie Steiner, who is running for Iowa's 4th district.
Woo!
That is tomorrow, 7 p.m., which is our usual live stream time,
Be
etc. And then next week, Monday, 22 September at 7 p.m., we have returning guest Kat Abughazaleh, who is running for Congress in Illinois, which happens to be the same state where Chicago is. Y'all remember Chicago from
I
the
think
news.
she does had a run-in with some
City
ICE
of
folks
Chicago.
too. Going in.
And then there's no show Tuesday because the next day, Wednesday at 7 p.m., we have Brian Nathan, a congressional candidate from Florida. I can't do 3 shows back to back. It'll fucking kill me. So we've got a show. Instead of Tuesday next week, we've got, or the week after, we've got Monday and Wednesday. So Monday, 22 September, we've got Kat Abughazaleh. Wednesday, 24th September, we've got Brian Nathan. And then we had Monty Mader on Tuesday, 30 September, but she has to reschedule. So as soon as I know the details for that, we'll have Monty Mader. If you don't know who Monty Mader is, you need to get on the fucking Google and type in her name, Monty Mader, and Google that because
She has a very good channel.
she has very good content. And she was also on our previous guest, Jenny from Life Take Two. She was just recently on Jenny's show as well. So everything is connected. It's like a connection. Anyway, so that's our upcoming shows. Typically, we always stream Tuesdays. There are occasions where that doesn't happen, like if I'm at a protest or whatever. And then, back-to-back shows, I'm not doing Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. I'll fucking die. Doug had a question.
May I
Yes.
give a little also update on something that's happening on Political Drain on Thursday?
Yeah,
We got
absolutely.
the very first ever exclusive interview coming with Mr. Rook T. Winchester, the unseen, the unheard, from
Yes.
Out.
Closer to the Edge.
Yeah.
Very
Closer
nice.
to the edge, fear and loathing.
He's giving his very
Loathing.
first interview
Loathing.
ever, and it has chosen me to do it. So I'm very, very, very excited about it,
Badass.
and I feel very good about it. So y'all make sure to check out Thursday. You'll see that post. I'll try not to get excited and post too early, but it might be up like 9 a.m.
That's amazing, by the way.
Premature post.
I saw what you did there.
Oh my god, I wish I
And
had.
when is that-
Oh my god,
When is that happening again?
Thursday. I will. Thursday. It's happening tonight
2 days
at
from
8.
now.
Yeah, I'm going to interview him tonight at 8, and then I'm putting
Tonight.
up the video on Thursday.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So the video's coming up Thursday then.
Video's going up Thursday.
So the interview is like private, and then
It's gonna be
Thursday
private,
it will
right.
be live.
Right.
Gotcha. Okay.
So you don't
So-
do live streams where like everybody can join in and.
No,
and-
he don't. I do live streams, but he doesn't.
I mean-
He was like, look. I mean, I don't even know what I'm gonna see. I might see like a picture of a llama and a like I don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
Something
Oh, that's
something
awesome.
to
I'm
keep in
stoked
mind
for
is that
you.
a lot of people who do static content, in other words, they don't do like videos or live streams or whatever. They just make posts on the internet.
Yeah.
A lot of
I
them
don't
want
understand the
their
words
face
coming
to
out
be
of your
seen.
mouth right now.
Yeah.
No.
They don't want it at all. And I get it. I mean, this is a damn
Former
it's not-
Twitch streamer, I don't understand you people at all.
It's not an easy place out here on these internet streets, man.
Yeah.
You gotta have
You
a
gotta
certain
like
fortitude.
if you get on internet streams and you're like, thanks guys for coming to my stream, and they just like
Wait,
Can't
were
do it.
you watching my Twitch streams?
You just
no,
have,
I'm just imagining
like-
like myself if I weren't
No, that was
Already, like, if I
legitimately my
hadn't been
Twitch
it-
streams.
if I hadn't spent an adulthood like standing in front of 30 to 40 soldiers and being like, all right, you stupid motherfucker, stop drinking and driving and shit like that, I would be a mess. Like there would be no way that I could get on a live stream and talk to random
Bye, Lark.
strangers on the internet.
Bye, Lark.
Overcoming
Bye,
that
Lark.
fucking living problem and
yeah,
oh
you
yeah,
just gotta have a
Lark.
cute dog.
Lark, if you're watching this right now, I want to give a big shout out to you, but also your temporary roommate who is not of the same
Political affiliation.
affiliation alignment. And I hope that your roommate who is not like us gets well quickly.
They not
Best
like
wishes
us.
from Big
They not
Sarge
like
to
us.
you and the person who's over there in the other bed or whatever's going on with each of you. It's your business, not ours.
Okay,
but
you're making
speedy
things
recovery.
sound really weird,
This
dude.
is-
I like.
The
Yeah,
more specific,
I
you
am.
get,
Oh, you're
the
making
more
things
weird it
Intentionally.
worse.
I am intentionally making it
Wow.
awkward.
Lark.
I'm
the
gonna have to
person
start
who-
showing up at every freaking show because is this how he talks about me when I'm not around?
Yes.
No,
Lark is probably like,
Shit.
yeah, laughing the ass off, and the other person's like,
Can we?
"Make him
shout
shut
out-
up!"
Shout out
Lisa.
to all the mods that showed up. Thank you very much, Lisa Joe,
Lisa fucking
thank you,
Joe,
Lark.
baby.
Lisa fucking Joe. Thank you, Lark. Thank you, everybody for coming and
I think I saw
the
Lexi
regulars.
in there too.
Yes,
Yeah.
I think I saw Lexi pop in and
I think I saw ORP dude as well.
Yep.
was
I
he?
saw OR.
Yeah.
I have not
dude.
seen OR in so long.
It was there.
Oh my
I know.
god. But I see a lot of names that I've been seeing at the live streams for months and months. So you got some regulars. Hey Nanya, I see you. Yeah. Oh my
Woo,
god.
and Lisa, we need to talk. I know it's Monday, but it's been crazy about everything. But anyway,
Staff
let's do this.
meeting.
What are we doing? What are we doing, Miss Sarge? I gotta get ready. I gotta get ready for my
Your interview.
my interview with the faceless one.
Well, you should be warmed up now.
Yeah.
Here's Lexi. Hi Lexi.
Yeah, I need a cigarette after this. So I mean,
Was it that good?
You know what? That
it's
reminds
always
me.
that good.
There is a band. I don't know if anybody's heard of them. They're called Cigarettes After Sex, and
Outstanding.
it is the most chill, relaxed, laid back covers of songs. So like, what's that? I think it's REO Speedwagon. I'm gonna keep on loving you. They do like this really slow. The whole vibe is like you're having a cigarette after sex, which is why the band is called that way. But they have that song. Like, go look up. The band is called Cigarettes After Sex, and the first one that you should look up is "I'm Gonna Keep on Loving You."
I love
Okay.
that song.
Awesome.
The
Okay, I
guy that
didn't
sings for
actually
that
say
band
but I
is
do love that
fucking
song.
amazing. He's just
What's up,
like
Lexi?
real chill, and he sounds like he's singing to you. Like I would be
What's up,
like,
little
if I
thing?
had to go see this band in concert, I'd be like, I love you, man.
And then we're going to wrap. Yes.
Yes,
Because
wrap
as
Yes,
a true
Matt.
Pennsylvanian, I've got to get to Wawa and get my hoagies. So
Rapping.
I gotta get
Rapping
Wawa.
as we speak.
Do you even know what a Wawa is?
I do not.
No. Bloodhound Gang.
Okay, I love you guys.
Wait,
Thanks for having
we
me.
gotta
familiar
do
with their work.
the claps. What's happening with
No,
the,
I ain't
are we
doing no
them?
fucking claps.
Oh,
Are we?
Get
Oh,
heretic.
so we're officially wrapping it up like in total to shut down.
Kick her out.
Okay.
No, wait, no, that's me.
She said she's not doing no claps.
Oh my god, I was like gonna cry. You're the worst. Okay,
I mean, if you
Seriously.
don't want to do the 2 claps, that's like our thing now,
I know that's our
which I stole from Camp Deerwood, but whatever. Fuck it. Those guys are all MAGA anyway. They fucking hate me now.
Even better. I'm gonna clap extra loud now.
I shit you not. We have like a whole big ass camp thread with all the old campers dating back to like the 60s and 70s and whatnot, and I am the only liberal on there, and it is a fucking train wreck of
Hey, Casper.
hypocrisy and cognitive dissonance, and I'm just like, I can't. I had to mute that shit. Fucking delete it from my shit. I can't. Anyway. All right. That is our time for today. 2 claps and a ring.
Woo!
That's right, bitches.
Biatch.